welcome back to Dream Girl. Today is a bit of a different episode. I'm Sheen, your host, and today we're joined by Lamide, who's my co-founder of the Professional Network. And today will be a little bit of a different episode. We're just catching up on life in Dubai. It's been, almost a year now? More than a year since you've been in Dubai. It's been 3 years for me. It's been 1 year of Penn. And we have a lot of things to discover. And hopefully Lamide will be nice to us today.
As always.
If you want the other part of this video, we're not sure if it will be part 1 or part 2. You can also check out Lamide's channel, and the other part of this conversation will be posted there. The wonderful business that Lamide and I have now created together called the Professional Network, Penn for short.
Period.
And it's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, maybe in like a couple days. I think
Literally
Friday is actual the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, it was the 23rd?
Yeah, it was the 23rd.
Okay.
Today I want to talk a bit more about like Dubai lifestyle. And especially because we've both now left our jobs. How do you find your experience of Dubai now that you're no longer working? In the sense of, is Dubai more enjoyable when you have like freedom, when you have a bit more money than it is when you're like, obviously people work in corporate jobs, people have good corporate jobs here, there's no, income tax. So, you can still make good money, but the difference, what is your difference in experience in Dubai having a job and not having a job?
That's a very good question. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because the reason I hated my corporate job was because I felt like there was so much to enjoy about Dubai and I didn't have the time.
Oh my God, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the problem I had. I was like, I feel like I don't have freedom of my time. I'm in this wonderful place where it feels like I'm on holiday, but I am not. And I'm constantly working. So therefore, to answer, I'll give you the short answer first, and then I'll give you the longer answer. The short answer is 100% I enjoy Dubai more now that I have freedom of my time. But the longer version is, since I quit my job, I've never worked this much.
Right.
And I'm sure you relate with that, because now every outcome is fully dependent on how much input I personally put in.
Right.
So, and of course, because I'm sure we're going to talk about this in a bit, but there's also a lot of other feelings that comes with quitting your job and trying to now set up your own things, and this need to kind of like prove yourself about what you're doing and the success that can come with that. So I do think that in that front, I've been working a lot more. But now I have freedom of my time. I don't need to be up at a certain time. I don't need to be in the office at a certain time. Lamide is always late for every single meeting that we do. And are you going to raise your eyebrows at me? But it is, now I'm able to, for example, in the morning, I can have my PT and then have a meeting later. I can go out during the day and now work at night and that balance means that now I'm able to build the life that I want around the things that I want to prioritize. And Dubai has so much of it when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to networking, when it comes to meeting interesting people, and also when it comes to just having fun, honestly. And like right now I started kickboxing, I started having a PT, my PT comes home, so there's so much that can be done that previously I did not have the time to do.
Yeah, the time and the flexibility. I feel like I'm the same as well. I feel like with Dubai, it's a city that makes you want more and dream more, because your proximity to people who have like extreme amounts of wealth is very, very close, right? Like you'll see it around you. And so you kind of like, you want more. And if you're in a space or in a job where you don't feel like you have the room or the space to grow to that level where you can have those things, I feel like you start to feel like, I'm so close to it, but I'm not on my way there. And so for me, it was just kind of like, if I want to live a part of what I'm seeing, I know that the current path that I'm on is not really going to get me there. And it's not to say that you can't have a corporate job and still, have financial freedom or like have certain things. But I think for me, it was just like, there's just no way that I can live the life that I want. And I feel like Dubai gave me more itchy feet to like quit my job, because I was like, nah, I'm seeing so much of what I want to do. And it's not just in terms of like people who have like mass amounts of wealth who are in like their 40s and 50s, but you see a lot of young millionaires, young entrepreneurs who are doing their own thing in Dubai as well. And that gets you wanting to be like, I want to go.
I know, it's the equivalent of traveling business class once. Right? Then you're like, I cannot go back to economy. I need to work hard to have that lifestyle. And there's that guy, what's his name? Iman Gadzi? Like literally yesterday I saw a reel where someone asked him, what's in your bank account right now? And he was like, which one?
Ooh.
And they were like, okay, the main one. And then he showed it, and not to us, to the person.
Okay.
And the person counted, and it was 8 digits.
Wait, how many?
Oh my God, we had this conversation earlier. It's like, let's say like 10 million.
In dirhams or
Dollars.
Dollars.
Yeah.
In dollars.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that's one of his bank accounts, right? And he's young as well. So it's like he came from nothing. I mean, there's a bit of a debate about that. But he came from nothing and built that. And you have so many young people here who are living that lifestyle. And I agree with you. I think Dubai really inspires us to dream a little bit bigger and not try to like follow what we've always known and what most people are doing and try to build it, which is what we're doing now anyway, isn't it? But I mean, for you as well, last time when we met, you were also working your corporate job.
Last time when we met.
Last time we did the video.
Right.
The last time we met. Yeah. But, you know, even before we started Pen and all of that, you came in with the idea of working this great job, right? And now you've quit your job as well.
Yeah, I know.
So what for you was the tipping point?
Ooh, child. We're going to get into the tea.
Tea.
What was the tipping point for me? Oof.
I mean, you don't have to talk about the job. Talk about, you know.
Okay, you know what the tipping point for me was? I felt like every year of my corporate career so far, I've invited change, right? So my first year, I was still at JP Morgan. I was working in like TMT team. That was a lot. That was like a big, I'm a graduate, right? So there's a big learning curve. But I did that. I was on that role for a year and a half. And then at that point, we had the option to rotate teams. But this was the first year as well that they gave you the option to stay in your team as well if you wanted to, so that you can progress quicker, because obviously you're not learning new clients, you're not learning new ropes again. And I chose to still rotate whilst a lot of people did stay put, because I'm like, every single year I want to learn something new. I'm not trying to necessarily ascend up the ranks. I'm trying to gain as much breadth of knowledge as possible. So then I rotated in my second year. So then I did a full year covering fintechs. And then at the end of that year, I was like, before Dubai was even a thing, I was like, okay, I want something new, right? And then Dubai came up. So then my third year of work, then I was in Dubai. So all of my 4 years of like corporate so far, I've had a different change. But when I was in my current role, I was like, I need something new. I don't want to be in this same position again next year. And I think one thing that is good to talk about when it comes to moving to somewhere like Dubai, is a lot of the offices here, especially if you're part of a bigger international company, the offices which in a location that's not their main location are a lot smaller. So the roles that are available, the teams that are available are a lot smaller. So you're not like in London, I can go from like one complete end of the bank and find myself in another complete end of the bank doing something completely different, because we had our whole building, like when I was in JP, a whole building, every floor was doing something different, right? Whereas in Dubai, what we had like 2 floors, right? It's only a couple of teams. So your ability to like dream big is kind of limited when you're not in a main office. And so I was like, everything that I learned a lot. I would say maybe 6 months in, I was like, I got this. Like, I know what to do. And I was like, next year, do I really want to have sat through another year of this sameness again? And it's like, no. Like, I'm in my 20s. Every single year, I want to be tackling something different. That doesn't mean I have to switch jobs every year. But like I said before, it was just like a switch of teams or maybe a switch of roles or whatever. So I felt like if next year I'm still complaining about the same things, I would have done a disservice to myself.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stay the year, because one of the conditions that I had for my job in Dubai was that you had to stay a full year. Otherwise, all of the costs that they have incurred, relocation costs that they have incurred to bring you, you're going to have to pay that back. I was like, no, I don't want to pay that back.
We'll do the 1 year.
Like, I'll do the year. So I did the year. I got my bonus on the very same day. When that bonus landed, I was like, excuse me, sir, can we have a conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. I want to leave because ultimately I don't want to. And there was a lot of drama. Not a lot, but there was a little bit of drama and stuff. I mean, you always get corporate drama, right? But I was just like, please, I don't want to be complaining about the same things next year. That's just not me.
You know, the 1 year thing, I did the maths backwards as well. I counted when the 1 year was. so that I knew exactly when I should hand in my notice. I gave it 1 extra day just to be on the safe side. And I did exactly 1 year, 1 day.
Did you actually? And then you handed in your notice, or you left at 1 year, 1 day?
No, 1 year, 1 day was my last day. So I worked it back so that I could submit my notice just in time for the 1 year, because I didn't want to do all the faff about the relocation and all of that as well, the same thing. But isn't it crazy? And I remember when you moved, I had already quit my corporate job. I was working at the startup. And I told you this. I was like, let's see how long she lasts.
Really? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Do you remember I was telling you the story about me quitting consulting though? You don't remember?
Maybe.
I remember I was having that conversation, and internally I was like, let's see how long she lasts. Because, you know, you're also a creative person. You also have like so many different outlets where you could be making money from. But yeah, I mean, I guess one thing we never thought was that we would end up doing a business together.
I know.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, do we want to talk about the business now, or are we keeping this for later?
We can talk about it. We can talk about it.
Okay. So I think we should give people a little insight on how we decided on starting the business.
Okay.
I still remember. Do you?
I remember.
Okay.
I'll tell them.
I want to hear your version.
Okay, so what happened? I think we were having lunch, or we were catching up. Yeah, it was the day that we went to go on a walk on the, what's that leaf thing? The palm.
Did you call it the leaf thing?
It is a leaf, isn't it? A palm.
It's a palm.
Yeah,
anyway.
leaf, whatever. We went for a walk on the leaves. The palm, and then I was like, oh, people keep reaching out to me to meet up. And I was like, oh, I feel like maybe I should just do like something to just, instead of meeting up with everyone individually, let me just do something to bring everyone together. And he was like, do it. He was like, yeah, and I'll do it with you. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay. That's what I remember.
I mean, yeah, it's basically that. But we were also, do you remember we were thinking we should meet other people and see what we could do? That conversation came up. And
Is it?
Yeah.
What conversation?
Or is that our PR thing that we tell people of how we started it?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Wait, what? Tell me.
We always say that we were looking for groups to network, and then we couldn't find anything, and then we decided to start our own. That's our PR.
No. It's true though, because I was asking you. I was telling you. I was like, "What groups do you go to?" Yeah.
Oh
That's true.
God.
Not you acting like we're fake.
Jeez. Yeah, besties. And
No, as in faking PR.
you basically painted that right now.
How?
Anyway, let's not air our dirty laundry. Yeah, so that's what I remember as well. I remember us having a conversation and you telling me, where do I go to network and meet other people? And I was like, I really don't know, because when I was looking at the networking groups here, they were either for people who are older than us or people who are a bit more like
Specific, like mums.
yes, moms, or from a specific country, or, you know, people who don't necessarily do corporate jobs and who come from like lines of businesses. So we didn't see ourselves fitting in anywhere. And we thought, wow. And given that we had people reaching out to both of us wanting to hang out, so we thought, let's put something together. And both of us were working long hours, and we were trying to plan this brunch literally 1 year ago now. And it was a nightmare. I just remember the Friday when after work we met in Dubai Mall, went to Waitrose to buy everything for the brunch. And it was just a nightmare trying to get all of this done. And then
It was a beautiful nightmare. Yeah.
No, but it was more because we were underprepared, right? We didn't expect that it was going to take this much time, and that we will have this many people interested as well in the event. So it was a pleasant surprise. And then we had the best time on the day when it happened.
That was amazing.
And now it's been a year.
Yeah. And we also have our event. If you are seeing this before the 24th of August, we have our 1 year anniversary event, which is called Dreams into Reality. And we have amazing speakers who are coming, who are going to talk about how they turn their dreams into reality, how Dubai kind of fits into the picture. We also have so many goodies, notebooks, mugs, and it will be a networking brunch as well. We have amazing sponsors.
We do. We got really lucky this year. We have a beautiful spread for lunch, which is coming all the way from a beautiful cafe in DIFC. We have decorators, we have the venue, everything. So honestly, it will be our biggest one as well. We've doubled the number of tickets from last year.
Yeah.
Which for us, okay, let's talk about this. How does this make you feel?
What, doubling last year?
Yeah. 1 year later, from just an idea in our head, turning into a business that has now allowed us to quit our jobs, to do this full time. And 1 year later, when we're celebrating our anniversary, we've reached a point where we've doubled our ticket sales.
How does it make me feel? To be honest, I'm happy, but I feel like I'm not surprised because of the work that we have put in, particularly over like the last 2-3 months.
Correct.
Pen has gone from like something that maybe we caught up on every Saturday to just like, okay, we need to do this really, really quickly, to like, actually no, like we have weekly meetings. We have someone on our team now, right, who has helped us a lot. So like, I am just proud to see the progress, but I'm not like shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've put in the work,
Basically.
right? For me, it's exciting. And at the same time, I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure for us to grow bigger. And because I feel like we've built such a beautiful community and we've seen people benefiting from the community. We've seen people come together to do wonderful things together. And for me, the best time, the highlight of it was when we did that event and we had people flying in.
Every event.
That was crazy, though.
I think we've had people fly in from every continent. We've had people flying from Africa. We've had people flying from Europe.
Australia.
We've had people flying from Australia. Like,
Canada.
It's crazy.
For me, that day when we had someone from Canada, Amsterdam, and Australia.
And Kenya that day as well.
And Kenya. I was like, these are the extremities. The fact that we're getting... And they told us that they bought their tickets before they bought their plane tickets.
Yeah.
So that's crazy that...
One girl bought a plane ticket and had no ticket. Remember?
Yeah,
she turned up on the day like, I don't have a ticket, but can I attend?
Yeah, so I think it's crazy. But for me, that's why I feel the pressure, because if people are relying on us that much and they are putting their trust in the fact that we are building a community that could be useful to them, I do want us to give more value and grow bigger and hopefully, become like this global hub to help everybody around the world. But definitely not some... I think I'm a little bit different to you in the sense that I did not see it becoming this big, but we've been working hard on it. And I'm just glad, how much I was stressing out about this event at the start. But now...
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm not really worried about our ability to deliver.
I love that.
Just because I feel like there isn't a community like ours in Dubai, right? There are many different meetups. And a lot of the meetups that you'll see is just, for socialization, right? Like meet up and just chat and this and this and that. Yeah. Whereas what we offer is different in terms of like the women that we bring in to speak, the women that you connect with when you come to Penn. That alone is enough of a value, because realistically, like, our tickets aren't that expensive.
No.
Like, you've been to events that aren't as good realistically, but cost 3, 4, 5 times the price, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually not really concerned, because like whenever we have an event, I feel like, especially like our events where we have speakers, not like the social events, that's a little bit different, but like where we have our speakers and the networking and stuff, but like if you come with the right mindset, you're gonna take something away. It's just...
Yeah, no, agreed. And I remember when we plan our events, we're always like, are people actually getting value from this? Are people actually getting value from this? Which is, I think for us, is our main thing, right? We know that there's a social aspect to it, but we don't want that to be our priority. Our priority is people who are coming have a very clear goal of what they can learn from this event.
And I think going forward, like, we've focused on serving people who are already in Dubai, but now we're moving more into like recruiting stuff, right? And I think that's where I see Penn really, really taking off, because whilst there is a great community that we're building here, there are so many people who want to be a part of that community but haven't had the opportunity to move to Dubai yet.
Exactly.
So that's also what we're working on. And I'm excited to work on that. I feel like that part is more challenging, because realistically, when you have a big platform, getting women together is not that difficult, right? But delivering on that other side for me has been that's the biggest learning curve since leaving my corporate job, because it's like, this part of things I don't know how to do, right? I've never set up B2B email chains and taxes and like figuring out how to network with recruiters and building these sort of relationships. And this is where like we're really building a business model. And I think that's the part of the business where it's not as easy to just replicate, because anyone, and we've seen it, right? Anyone can put on an event. Hey guys, come, whatever. But like this other side that we're building, for me, is like, that's what I'm excited about, even more so than the events, even though I love the events as well.
I know. I feel like the events is the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
But we do want to build like a more sustainable business that's also helping people. But now that we're on that topic, I mean, I've taken over entirely. This is your video, but I've taken over entirely.
Yeah, I know. But
The podcaster is coming out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One question I get asked a lot is, how do you choose your co-founder? Right? And obviously Lamide is obsessed with me. That's a different problem. But I feel like for us, it was very clear from the beginning that we would work well together. But then it became clearer for us down the line that we actually have very complementary skills. And we've never properly done the whole like allocation of tasks because we kind of like do most of the things together. Now I think it's becoming a bit clearer where I do partnerships and you do nothing. That was a good one. You didn't see that one coming. But I do think that for us, what I like about you especially...
Oh,
yeah.
Let me hear it.
Yeah, I mean, we are never nice to each other. So I think...
Stop saying that. It's not true.
Sorry.
We have a great relationship.
Yeah. That's why people are worried about us.
Who's worried about us?
Amina.
Oh. Hey, Amina, if you're watching.
Hi, Amina. But I think what I like about you as well is how you always come with a vision. You always ask me, what's our goal? What are we trying to achieve? And you also forced us to have this very realistic conversation about how we are now at our limits when it comes to what we know. And we need guidance from other people. We need to start talking to other people. And I think that's so important to have someone who, you know, is kind of like looking for the direction and making sure that we stay true to the direction. And then, like, I would like to think I'm here to like help us move towards that direction.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. I wouldn't necessarily say that when we met up, I didn't know we'd be good co-founders, because we just fell into it. It was just like, okay, let's do this event together. We did the event together, and it's like, oh well, we can just keep doing this. But in hindsight, we have very different skills, and our skills are very. I can agree with you. Our skills are very complementary. Sheen is like, you're really, really good at, first of all, you're on the ground, right? Yes. Which is a massive help, but you're also really good at making friendships and relationships, and you have a lot of connections. I don't know how, but you're very good at doing it. Like if I'm like, Sheen, I'm struggling to find someone to do this, you can, like 2 hours later, you'd be like, oh, I spoke to this person, and we have this person. Like you're very, very good at doing that. But then Sheen is that person who is always like, let's just do this tomorrow. Why don't we just do this? Or why don't we just do that? And I'm just like, first of all,
hold on
a second. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I feel like I'm a bit more like, maybe a bit, what do you call it? Like operational, like strategy, a bit more.
More like, I would say you're in charge of growth and the strategy for that, and therefore the operations behind it.
Yeah. So I feel like our skills are so complementary. I don't necessarily think that there's any overlap realistically in terms of like what you're good at and what I think we have very clear, distinctive strengths, and it just works together very well. But I do think we got lucky.
We did.
I do think we got lucky.
But I think, you know, this is what people say most of the time, is that the vibe is more important than anything else, because everything else will fall into place. And you know, there's that graph that people go about, especially when it comes to hiring, is that what would you choose between loyalty and skills? And everyone goes for, I would go for higher loyalty and lower skills because I can train them, but you can't train loyalty. You can't train someone being actually dedicated to the cause. That you can't force. So that's why you should always rate that higher. And I think both of us rated higher, kind of like integrity and personality and values aligned. And then, as you said, we kind of got lucky with the fact that our skill sets are actually really different.
One thing I like about working with you is because I've worked with, especially when I was much younger, I've worked with people before, and it's, you know, that feeling where you're working with someone but you feel like you have to drag them along with you. Like you have to be the one to say, okay, like what are we doing in this and this and that?
How do we move?
Like you always have to like try to motivate them, whereas I feel like with us, I don't feel like I need to motivate you, and I don't feel like
we're both equally excited about
exactly.
it.
And I think it's also but yeah, that basically. And
She was
I
like,
think
enough
that makes it
gassing
easy.
chain up.
No, not even. I was going to say, also your background and credentials also check out, right? Because sometimes, like, I know that university or like work, what people do for a job is not always everything, right? Because you can find someone who has a lot of credentials, but maybe they're not as committed to the course, so they still won't put the effort into it. But I do feel like certain credentials allows me to know that you have a certain level of work ethic, right? And I'm not saying that, university guarantees that or whatever, but I feel like at least if what I did trust is that, okay, I know you've done X, Y, Z so far. So if you can apply the same effort that you've applied in those places into what we're doing, then it will move forward. And we actually haven't had like an argument, right?
No.
And I think another reason why we got lucky is because Sheen is very cheeky, as you would have seen. But I can give it back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. You do. But we do disagree, though. We haven't had an argument. We have very different opinions sometimes about things.
Yeah, like Sheen's taste.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Look. But I do think that we have a very good way of arguing, and we're always both open to listening to the other person's side.
I don't even see it as an argument though, but we definitely disagree.
No, I'm not saying argument. I'm saying disagreement. Like, we have different opinions about things sometimes on how to progress. But I feel like that's the one thing is that if I push back, I know that you will give it a fair shot. And if you still disagree with me, then I'm like, okay, she gave it a fair shot. And now we'll just go with what she's suggesting. And I think you do the same with me as well. So I've never felt like, like you don't listen to me or I don't get my way kind of thing, which is why I think it also works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I found this is so off topic, but I found that maybe my relationships are kind of like that.
Yeah?
So off topic. Yeah, because I see a lot of people have conversations about, even when you first interviewed me for your podcast and you were talking about friends at the end, and I'm like, I don't really know. I don't really put like that much thought into it. It just like happens.
No, but I think you do. I think,
You think so?
Subconsciously you choose your friends, right? You choose people who are around you in different capacities. And I think because of that initial selection process,
it's easier.
It's easier for you because you've already done the vibe check. And then, because
true,
even
actually.
for me, I don't have arguments with my friends. You're not my friend.
Huh?
Huh?
I was talking about me.
We are no longer friends. I don't have arguments with people who are still my friend.
That doesn't count.
No, but you know what I mean. It's like, you fall out with people, but I just mean with people who I have long,
in your close
ongoing
inner circle,
relationship.
right?
Yeah, we disagree. You can have things that you will say to each, but even that doesn't really happen. But I feel like there's no arguments, and I think that's a good way of like, it's a good way of living. I don't want drama. Thank you.
Sheen, you're so full of drama though.
I know, but my question is, do I attract the drama? You think I do?
Of course. Who else is going to attract the drama if not you?
I think it happens to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. This video has no structure of any form. Okay? So what are we going to talk? Like, is this still your video? Is this my video?
At this point, this is... Whose video is this? Pen's video. Because at this point, I think it's going to have to be Pen's. Because what are we even talking about? Who knows?
Okay. I mean, I have questions.
Okay, go. Let's go.
Okay. So...
Think Pen's channel page.
Okay. Okay, well, while we're on the topic of like relationships, friends, and your network around you, what role do you feel like your network played in your life? Professionally. Yeah.
You know what? I've never had a mentor, a formal mentor.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought you did.
Who?
I swear.
Where?
Okay, but you mentor people.
Do I mentor people?
Yeah, I've heard that word from you, I think.
I've had like one informal mentee.
Okay, let's talk about the mentoring. So you've never had a formal mentor?
No.
Neither have I. How do people even get the mentors is my question.
Bro, one of my friend Vera, she has so many mentors. I'm like, where are
So
you
does
finding
she
these
ask
people?
them to
Yeah,
be?
she does.
Ah.
But you know what? You know why I find it hard to have a mentor? There's no one, and I know that you don't get a mentor for every area of your life, but there's no one who I actually see right now who's like, I want to do what you're doing in its entirety. There are some elements, like let's say, for example, I always speak about like Aisha Ofori. She was like someone who I looked up to in the property game. But let's say certain elements, for example, like my current lifestyle of like kind of being a nomad, she doesn't have that aspect.
Right.
So I think what I probably need to do is like break down aspects of my life and maybe get a mentor. But then I listened to Layla Hormozi and she was like, you don't, like, just do the work.
I was about to say the same thing to
just
you.
do the work.
I remember I watched someone else say this thing. It's like we waste so much time trying to perfect the strategy and like all the help, all the support we need in order to achieve something. Well, it's just water. What happened?
It went down the wrong hole.
Oh my God.
Because you were trying so much rubbish.
Breathe.
You hear that?
Good?
Did you hear what I said? Carry on.
Anyway. And I remember this person was saying that just do.
Mm-hmm.
Stop planning. Stop trying to hear from others what is the best way. You will learn from doing. And I think, yes, mentoring can probably maybe make the journey a little bit quicker or a bit easier for you. But I do like my little journey of learning from doing and making your own mistakes and then learning the hard way. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. So right now we're actively building the business. Mm-hmm. How much have we learned? And no one is here to hold our hands, right? Sure. We had to figure out what license to get. We had to figure out how to open a freaking bank account that took us 2 months. We had to figure out the taxes. Nobody could tell us what taxes we should register for. And we did it ourselves, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And now if tomorrow this young entrepreneur comes to you being like, hey, Lamide, do I need to register for corporate tax? You know exactly what to tell them because you've done it yourself. And I feel like we are literally we have this arsenal of skills now that we're building just from doing. But if I had someone tell me what to do, you don't learn as much.
And I also think that when I'm thinking about it, I do have mentors, but they're all informal. Like even people who I listen to online, like as we've been doing this business thing now, I've watched so much Alex Hormozi content and I consume it in a much different way than I did when I was like, in corporate, where maybe I was using it for inspiration. Now it's like... things that he says, I'm like writing it down. Like, okay, we need this sort of strategy within our business. Okay, if this isn't working, then maybe we need to try this, etc., etc. Yeah. So I feel like I probably do have mentors, but not like in the traditional way. And I also feel like, and I'm not against mentors, but I feel like when people do have mentors, right? Maybe you can answer, but is there a point where you get to where you feel like, is my life a consequence of how my mentor has guided me and the things that they have said? And do I now start attributing certain things to my mentor? Or what the way I feel is like I have full control over my life. I always get advice. And I think luckily for me, I tend to have a lot of people around me who are older than me. Like that's just naturally been the case. And if I want to do something, I'll ask people. At least maybe like 3 people get their different opinions on it. But at the end of the day, the decision is always mine to make. I don't know how I'd feel if I was going to one person and letting that person's take on things dictate what I do. But maybe that's not how mentorship relationships work. I don't know.
That's a very good point. And I think you've explained this very clearly. So that's one thing. Obviously, there are all sorts of mentors, all sorts of coaches out there. But a good mentor is someone who gives you the tools to make the decision, not someone who guides your decision.
Right.
Right. But obviously you don't know that, how it works with different people. But I love what you said, because at one point in my life, whenever I had to make a decision or I faced like a roadblock, I would go out and ask, there's, as you said, the little... like the inner circle, the people on the board, and you're just going to go to
your
them.
board of directors.
Yeah, you just go to them being like, hey, this is the decision that needs to be done. What do you think? And yeah, okay, everyone will give you different opinions based on, their own life experiences and their own choices. And then I would always be a little bit confused because then I'm like, and now I don't know where to go, because what you hope is that everyone will be in alignment. Right. Like, this is the clear right decision to make. So then someone gave me this incredible advice, which was on a podcast as well. This was from Sarah Al-Madani. And she told me, you never go to people asking them to make a decision. You have an internal discussion with yourself. You think, I'm leaning towards this. So let me go to you and I'll be like, hey, Lamide, I have this problem at hand. The solutions are A, B, or C, but I'm leaning towards A. What do you think? So then you've already presented them what you are leaning towards, and they can give you a direction. And also because you are on one side, it gives you more of a perspective as to how to assess the others and how to assess this solution. So basically what I'm saying is you need to have some sort of standard idea of what you want to do, and then you try and like sense check it with people, but don't ask people to make the decision for you. And I think that's such a big difference in how you approach any decision in life, and it's been big life changer for me.
Yeah. And come to Penn if you want to get some opinions on what the things you want to do. That's one of the things we're going to be doing at our Dreams to Reality networking. It's true though. We're going to get we're going to be talking about the things that we want to do. And in our groups, we're going to get the women to, give me some insight on like, what do you think I could do this is what I have. That's what we're doing, right? This is my dream. This is the plan that I have for that thing. And then get a little bit of perspective on, okay, like what is your opinion on that? But you still already have your plan.
So let me give a little overview of one of the exercises I've planned for Dreams to Reality. It's called the WHOOP method.
The who?
The WHOOP. WHOOP. Have you heard of it? So WHOOP, W-O-O-P, WHOOP. So W stands for your wish. So in our case, it's your dream, your biggest dream. Think about it and write it down. Then the first O is about the objective. So think about if that dream were to come true, what is that outcome? What does your life look like now? Let's see, your dream was to get, to open your business. Now, the outcome is, what does your life look like once you have that business? The second O is the...
Me?
You don't know? No, I'm asking you.
You already asked me if I know what whoop is. I don't know what whoop is.
Okay. The second O is objection.
Oh.
So what is that? Any kind of like challenge and obstruction along the way of this? What are the challenges that you identify, which is stopping you from doing this? And then the P is the plan to overcome these challenges, to achieve that dream and build that outcome for yourself. So in our Dreams to Reality event on Saturday, we will get people to identify what their biggest dream is, what their life looks like once they have achieved that dream, and what are the current problems they have. And we are hoping that all of our wonderful speakers and the network that they will have over there will help them come up with a very kind of like clear plan on how to work on it.
That's amazing. I'm excited to see this now.
Me
Not you getting a whole structure to it.
I know.
Love it.
I know. I actually did the slides last night as well. I was like, I'm so gassed now. So that's the exercise, and the exercise will be done in our brand new planner.
Ooh, yay.
So again, back to the video that has no structure. At this point, what are we talking? You asked me a question. I've asked you too many things.
Let's talk about dating in Dubai.
Oh my God. Let's go. I guess we're starting with that.
Let's talk about it. Because you know what? I was watching a video this morning and it was a guy. It was like this. He's actually called Wealthy
Did he just
Expat
get
on
married?
YouTube.
Oh.
No. Oh! And he was basically saying that dating in Dubai is trash for men. Saying that if you go on apps like Tinder, you get women who are trying to a lot of women who are trying to use you for your money. And I think there's just that whole perception of like women just trying to use you for your money in Dubai. So men are saying that dating women here is trash. What's your perspective on dating the men here?
How long do we have? Listen, I think, so currently I was recording this whole mini series just on relationships and love and marriage, and everyone is from Dubai, so keep an eye out on that. But I think, honestly, there's no short answer to this. I do think that the problem with Dubai is it's such a transient place. People are always coming in and out. People are not necessarily looking to like build their roots here and try and be stable here, have a family, start a family. So a lot of that is not currently present in Dubai, which makes it harder for people to look for that. So the complaints that you hear from women, especially after doing the series on the podcast, it echoes across board. And is that I don't think it's like men are trash or women are trash. I think the dating culture is terrible.
Ooh. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that a lot of people are on the apps just for like transient
Gratification.
fun, right? They just want to have fun, but they don't advertise it that way, because then you kind of like filter out a lot of people from the other gender that you don't want to, right? Because a lot of people, that the problem is people lie. Short and simple
Oh, is
terms.
it?
Yeah.
As in from what they want from a partner, or
So
what
there are
they
two
want?
different lies that you get. The first lie is that I'm looking for a long-term relationship when they're not. The other one is that I'm single.
Oh my God. You know what? We have to talk about that. Because let me tell you one thing I've learned being here is that people think that if they have a partner elsewhere and they're in Dubai,
It's
they're
fine.
single.
Yeah, it's
They
single.
would literally be like, well, my partner's not here, so I'm single. Like, no, it does not work like that. Do you know the amount of men I've heard basically say that?
Literally.
Not even have said that word for word, like, oh, I'm single here. In Dubai, I'm single.
Here.
Back where I'm from, I'm not. That's
But
crazy.
Literally just the other day we had this conversation, me and this girl, and she was telling me, she was like, I was dating this guy and it was going really well. And then every week he would be in a different emirate. So he's not in Dubai, he's like in Ajman or something. I forgot which emirate it was. And she mentioned that to her friend, that I'm seeing this guy, we're exclusive, he's really in love with me, but I only see him during the weekend. I don't know why he's not in Dubai during the week. And the other friend was like, he has a wife. You should ask. And she asked him, do you have a wife? He was like, not in Dubai. He was like, yeah, in Ajman I have a wife. Imagine, it's not even a different country. It's a different emirate at this point. So I think that's unfortunately a big problem, where they don't feel the need to tell you that they're married. For them, it's not a deal breaker that they're married. When I was working, I'm not going to say which job. When I was working, one of the guys who was Kuwaiti did tell me that he openly asked me if I wanted to be his second wife.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, to be fair, he owned like 12 houses in London.
At least he asked.
He told me he had a first wife. So, I mean, yeah, well, that's the problem. So dating here is hard, and especially because, I don't know, man. I think it depends. If you're looking to date for fun, is the best place to do it. If you're looking to date to find a potential future spouse, I think it's a really hard place to do it. And I think the challenge that a lot of Muslim people face as well is that you would think you're in a Muslim country and it's easier, but it's not. But yeah, I don't know.
Why is it not easier? Is it just the same, or is it harder?
I think it's the same, but it's the expectation that it would be easier. And I think that also a lot of the kind of like the flexibility with the religion is also more diverse here.
Oh, is it? What does that mean?
So, you know, for example, in London, if you go on the app, it's very clear. People will be like, I'm Muslim, which means that they're practicing.
Okay.
But if you find someone who will be like, they won't even identify as Muslim, right? They'll be like, I'm not Muslim. But here you will have a lot of Muslims who strongly believe they are Muslim and they practice as Muslim, but they drink. And for them, that's okay.
Okay.
But you can't see that on the dating scene until you meet them and stuff, right? So it's just that these parameters are a little bit more flexible here. Yeah.
That's interesting. I do find that is interesting. I think people's perception of what Dubai is like from a religious perspective. Like, a lot of people ask me like, oh, there's a church in Dubai? I'm like, yeah, there are also Christian Arabs as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think people's perception of Dubai and the reality is, but I think, anyways, let's not get into that.
But isn't there that place in Abu Dhabi where they have all the religions as well? They have like a temple for each religion. Yeah, I think it's called the Abrahamic something.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, we should go. They have like a Jewish thing.
Synagogue.
Yeah, a Christian church and a mosque all together. Yeah, I mean, that was just a random thing.
Okay, it's a fun fact.
Fun fact.